Okay, right. This is the third time I've tried to make this video because I've got kittens in the house at the moment, and they are just riotous. They are really having a great time. Right, so okay, if you're new to the channel, I channel light beings, various races, including Sirians and Lyrans and blue avians and many others. And I receive messages from them which I take down by automatic writing, and I then will relay those to you. And they're messages for the collective, but there's usually something in there for us personally. Well, there's always something in there relevant to us personally. And then once we've done that, I'll go into channeling light language codes to help with what we've been discussing, the theme. Okay, right. So it was interesting this time because they started off talking about what's happening on the planet. And of course, today is the 8th of November, so we've got a very important full moon and lots of energies coming through, and I'm sure many of us are feeling those. And of course, we're leading up also to 11, and that energetic portal. All right, so lots going on, and there has been, hasn't there, all year. Yeah, all year. So they started off talking about that and talking about the planet healing, and then went into talking about ancestral healing, which they had promised to do, of course. If you've watched the previous video, in that they did say that they would be talking about that as well. So good, let's get started. All right, so they said, oh, hang on, I'm not on the right page. There we are. Right. So they said these are momentous times. 2 reasons. It's a bit of a pun, this. The first is that we are experiencing changes in sort of real time, or in terms of how we view time as humans in the 3D, i.e. moment by moment. So we are experiencing change in every moment. Hence momentous. And the second reason, they said that there is a feeling of momentum, which is arising, really, that feeling that everything's moving so fast. We feel like that because we've been in a long period of anticipation, and now things are unfolding and are happening. Yeah? So it's like we've sort of been in this sort of incubation period, if you like, and then we're kind of like we're let out, you know, our energy's coming out and spilling out, and lots of things are happening. So it feels that it's gathering momentum. So what is going on? You know, well, they said the energetic grid of separation has been removed. And they did talk about that. I think it was 2 videos ago. And also that many other grids and energetic templates on this planet are dissolving. So they said that, you know, these have been part of our reality on Earth for millennia. And they have taken the form, in terms of manifesting in our societies, the form of control, of fear. We know the list, don't we? Of greed, of anger, violence, they mentioned, and so on. And it is reflected, or has been reflected, in many of the ways our society has been set up, whether we're talking about our religions, organised religions, or we're talking about the way our economies are set up and the way we do business, the way we govern ourselves, the whole shebang. All right. So, and they said, you know, we've all been plugged into these energetic grids for many, many lifetimes on Earth, and therefore we carry that energy in our body, and in our energy field, and in our DNA. So, and it's here that they made a link to ancestral healing, because they said it's akin to a form of ancestral healing that both the planet herself and we as a collective are experiencing. And they said it's like, they showed me 2 things. One was like a tidal wave a tidal wave sort of washing over the planet, or like the breaking, what happens when a dam breaks, you know, this enormous flow of water that sweeps everything away in its path. And it's fast, it's strong, and it's fast, and it's removing things, in this case permanently. All right, so, but we are also feeling it on a personal level. So they said, although many of you, many of us have been healing and clearing things for a while now, any energies or wounds that we are still carrying, energies that relate to these old templates, or wounds that stem from our ancestral line, are coming up for us. So then they went on to just talk about ancestral healing on a personal level. I think it really to help us understand as well where that fits in with what's happening with the planet. So, what are ancestral wounds? Well, these manifest as thoughts and beliefs that we hold, our emotional makeup and patterning and patterns of behaviour that impact us negatively. All right, so sometimes we're conscious of them, all right, and sometimes they reside in our subconscious, and we haven't quite made the link between, the way we respond to things, or the decisions we make, or the way our life is going, and these kind of wounds that we hold. All right, but they always have their roots in our ancestral line. All right. So, for instance, and they did give an example. They said, we may be somebody who, let's say we are somebody that works really hard in life, really hard, and to be honest, it's a bit of a slog, and it's always felt like a slog. So, we work long hours. We're not very well paid for what we do. We don't enjoy what we do. It's not, so hence it feels like a slog, but we do it anyway. And we consistently find ourselves falling into jobs like that. They're the jobs we get, they're the jobs we do, and that's been our working life, okay? But we're not happy, and we know that, but we can't seem to get ourselves out of that. Now, why? Now, we might think, well, we might be able to put our finger on something quite readily. We might say, well, I do it out of a sense of duty. I want to look after my family, and so on. Or we might feel, well, I just don't know what else I'd do. I'm just not one of those people that is creative, or, I don't feel I'm good enough to educate myself in another job, or something like that. So lack of self-belief, really. Or we might just fall back on, well, it's just circumstances. It's circumstantial. There just aren't the opportunities out there, yeah? Okay, however, when we look back through our family line, we may find that this is a pattern. So it's not just a pattern in our own life, but it's been a pattern that has played out, let's arguably say, for our father and for his parents, or so on, okay? Most of us can trace these things back sort of 1 or 2 generations, but it very often does go back much, much further than that. Okay. So when we identify this patterning, and we think, aha, this is ancestral. All right. We are then able to look at the energy around that and identify the root cause. Where did it all begin? Who did it begin with, and why and how? Okay, what is the wound? Okay, that is manifesting as these beliefs, these thought patterns, these decisions and behaviours, and so on. So, for example, in this case, a core belief that life is hard. Life is hard. It sucks. Hang on, I'm just going to pause a moment because my son is outside. There we go. So life is hard, life sucks, and that's a belief that we hold in our subconscious, and it's manifested in the choices and behaviours and affects our life experience. Okay, so it's an imprint really that has been passed down from generation to generation, and we may not have realised it. So then imagine we go in, you know, we do the energy healing, we remove that from our energy field, and we will find that we will start then to think, behave, feel differently, which leads us to make different choices, which leads to a new reality for us. Okay, so that's sort of the process and how it works, although there is another little bit that they talked about. So back to the planet and the collective then, and they said, you know, this is very similar to the process that the planet is also going through. So old beliefs and emotional wounds, modes of behaviour, all coming up for identification and removal. Okay, those templates, those energetic grids being removed. Okay, and of course, as we said, those are templates and grids that we have been connected to for a long time. Some we may resonate with on a personal level more than others. They said depending on our own ancestral wounds or other wounds as well, you know, it depends how we resonate with that energy, but nevertheless we are all affected by them to some degree, because we're all part of society, we're all part of the collective, and we live on the planet. Okay, so they said just as when we do healing work personally, which they went to great lengths to describe how we do ancestral healing, and we remove anything from the energetic field, we then create or leave behind a void in that field, okay, an open space energetically, which we need to fill, or we do fill during the process, with new light energy, okay, and we're feeling this process, this part of the process at the moment with the planet, okay? So that kind of being in that void state where new light is coming in to fill that, okay? So we're in that process of energy being removed and the void feeling and new coming in, all right? Good. So it's creating in many people, they said, a feeling of, oh, okay, if not that, then what? Where are we heading? What will be the new? What will fill the space? What will fill the space where those energies were? So they then moved into a message of reassurance. This is a very long message this week, isn't it? All right. So here we go. They said, this was lovely. They said, you already know. The planet, she knows. This is part of your remembering. All the time you are remembering more of who you really are. And you can watch lots of videos about multidimensionality. In fact, that was might have been the last one, multidimensionality, and what that remembering entails and means. This information about what to create in the place of the old is gradually coming in as we do remember. And they said also that there are many on the planet that have come in carrying the necessary templates with them already, and with the ability to create new energetic grids of light. They said also you have the assistance of other races. Yeah, so we're talking about other races that are here to assist the planet. All right, such as those that I work with, to help us, to teach us, to guide us and help us in that process of remembering. And they said, if you're not yet channeling yourself or have connected to these beings, you can, and they said you can, there are of course those that are. All right, but they said you're all traveling in the same direction and every single person has a role to play. Whether we play that role is our choice, of course, but we have come in with that intention. And they also said never underestimate the healing work that each of you do personally. It is a huge contribution. All right. And they did add something else as well, which was very encouraging. They said at the same time as there are races helping you, those entities that are not of the light are leaving your planet because the grids are dissolving, your vibration is rising, and there is more and more light. And so they cannot work with that. All right. Heartening, isn't it? Although they did also add that a lot of us that work energetically are also witnessing that because these entities don't want to go. All right, so there's a little bit of kicking and screaming going on there. All right, but nevertheless they are, and they will. So they said, right, if you are feeling anxious, unsettled, or finding a lot is coming up for you, all right, as you make your contribution and do your own healing, if you feel uncertain or not sure what direction you're going in, or just uncertain generally about what you're seeing in society and where the world is heading, okay? Know that it's okay and that everything is unfolding exactly as it should be, and that where you're heading is better, brighter, and lighter. Okay, hang on a moment. Yeah, kid in trouble again. Scraping at the door, they want to get in. Right. Good. So where were we? We were where we're heading is better, brighter, and lighter. So they're into their wordplay this week as well, aren't they? All right. So the codes that they're going to bring in now are to calm us. So calming our nervous system in particular. They are to balance us. All right. And most important, arguably, to ground us, okay, so that we're in sync with the planet. Now, they did also say that these are aspects that we ideally would work on daily at the moment, such is the pace of change. All right, just daily making sure that you're having a check-in, that we're centered, we're grounded, and that we are balanced in our energetic field, okay? And that will help us no end. All right, okay. So I'll go into channeling. Actually, I have to say, I was writing their messages down, and I wrote them down a little while ago, but I then was reading them through this afternoon, just in preparation. And then I went to pick up my son from school, and I got in the car and I realised that I was so energised. I was like, I really felt like a rush of energy, like excitement, like I could run a marathon, just sort of flowing through me. And so I had to sort of calm myself, actually. So these are very strong energies that are going to come through. So as ever, you don't need to do anything. I've already protected the space. So, and asked that only light energies come through. Okay. Yeah. And that everything that happens in this session is for the highest good of all. All right. And at the end, I will do the same. All right. So you don't need to do anything. Just relax. Set your intention to receive. All right. Good. Good. Take a few deep breaths. Ele se que ato she na che na masse atisti a quintriala se quintriaria sheriala sa cantriama la sa catriasta. Ese a quintriasta yatriale se quintriasta. We know it was a long message, as Owen said this time. Ele se quintriasto quintriama la sa cantriasta tale. There's so much to talk about. Ele hoyama la sa cantriasta yantriala se quintriasta. But we want you to know we are here to assist you. Ele se quintriasto quintriama tale. And we will begin. Ela ki kuna mahaya na saka ya taria singa ki aria shakan taitala, second tatala, second tatala. Ekia kuntana mata yesta yakantariasta cantareala sacantatara. Esete yashakantariata le secantatara, e le secantatara, e secantateria sarasha, yariasha, yatarayata tatariata. Ele secretariasta quintaria tuturia matatara tatatara tetestea tatatara tatatara etatera etatara etatara etatera etatera etatara etea cantariasta. Etea cantariasta kuntatetere yatsa quintelia sacantariasta. Etekia turia matatalea secantaria ele secretariata turia matatara. Etiketariata tutoria materiala sakatatara. Esekete, etekete, eketete, etekete, etekete, ariasta cantatara. Estea cantarea, esteaka, shushakataria tatarata. Emerina male seate jama olomaha. Ele seke ala kaya na haina malaya seketea. Ele sekete ala sakaya taya naisha. Ele yanasha. Ele yanasha. Ele seke atukuya mala sakatesha. Isiate tukundala shayate yarasha. Ishaya sakala she. Isaya she. Isaya she. Isaya leyasha. Isaya kuya namala. Isaya kuya kalasa. Isaya la sakatara. Isaya la sukutushti yamaha. Elisea kalashaha. Isaya lo shuyu ryushata. Elisea leyasha. Elisea elisha. Elisea elisha. Isaya shuyu kuya maha. Isaya kuya maha. Isaya kuya maha. Elisekea. Elisekeyara. Isha. Ise. Isha. Ise. Isha. Ise. Isha. Elisekea ruya masha. Ise ariata. Eniele. 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 Enisha. Ise asha. Ise yaka. Elesua. Etu. Eke o kumbaka ya naka, eseke ya kokuya nakaka ya nakaka, ese eke o kuno koka, eleke kaya ke neke kaya kake yaka, ya rate ke ya koroki nka, eke la kakakaya nakaka, eke o rose kakakia nakaka naka, ereaso koto reata lasa kanta, ereataka, ese akara, ese akara, este akara, este karayata kantarea, eleke ya noko ya naka, eke yaka naka, ele se keke no kuno haha, ele se keke na, akaya naka kayana, ase yakakana, ese yakakana, ese yakana, aha, ene, eke yakanaka, takaya naka. Esut. Nele se ketena, ese yakumanara, ese yateste, in riatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatriatria Okay. Got really hot at one point during that. Good. Good. All right, so I hope all of the messages and all the things I had to say to you today resonated and will be of great help to you and comfort as well, and very reassuring, as they said. And I hope the messages settle into you well, and good. All right. Just closing the energetic space between us. Good. All right. So you know where to get in touch with me if you feel the need to do some healing with me. I can assist you in that, whether it's ancestral or karmic or whatever the issue may be. All right. Or you might not know what the issue is, so we can explore that together. All right. So, or if you would like some information about your own soul path and some guidance, I can channel that information for you too. And also, just to say, I'm just being prompted to say, if any of you are struggling with some of the entities and darker aspects within the energetic field and on this planet that are affecting things at the moment as they leave, then you can also get in touch with me about that. All right, okay. Right, so yes, you can find me on Facebook, you can message me on there, my email address is below, so all of those things. But please do subscribe, because I understand as well, part of the sort of kickback to things at the moment is on media sites and social media platforms and so on, is that a lot of the information isn't getting through. Because the algorithms have changed. So the more people that do subscribe, the more people that share and like the videos and so on, the better it is for those of us that are putting out information, because it's getting picked up. Especially once we reach a certain number of subscribers and views, it gets picked up. So that's quite important at the moment, and that goes across the board for many of us. So good. All right, lovely. I shall stop waffling. Let my kittens in. All right, and take care and have a good next few days, or whenever it is that I see you. All right, lots of love. Bye.